Hey, everybody out there, and welcome to another edition of Online Academy. Today, we're going to be talking about creating a SharePoint page in your O365 environment. So, let's go ahead and get started. So, getting started with SharePoint Online. If you are new and this is the first video you've ever watched, I'll do a uh, quick explanation of O365, but I highly encourage you to check out some of the other courses that or videos that we've done within this course and some of the other courses. Uh, so if you go to office.com, that's your landing page for all things O365. The SharePoint application is your hub and starting spot for all SharePoint related applications, and you'll see something like this. So you will see your apps. SharePoint is right here in the middle. You'll also be able to use the waffle that'll give you full display of SharePoint. If you do not see SharePoint, then you likely do not have a license for SharePoint. SharePoint is included with Business Essentials and all of the business licenses as well as the enterprise licenses. But if you do not have it, you might just have an Exchange license, and that would not come with SharePoint. So make sure that you are first dealing with the correct licensing here. So go to your SharePoint landing page to create a site, a page rather. And there's a couple of different ways that we can do this. So first, you can go into site contents. That's an overview of pretty much your entire environment. It gives you all of the content that you have, lists, libraries, pages, etc. Um, or you could do it an easy way, which is really cool within the O365 environment, where you can just click the plus new and do a drop down and do a page. Um, if you do not see site contents on the left and when you click it, nothing happens, or if you go to the gear and you do not see site contents or site settings, you do not have permissions. So you need to contact your administrator, or if you're the administrator, then you need to figure some stuff out. But you do need permissions to be able to create pages. So once you choose that plus new and then page, the new experience prompts you with a couple different templates, which we'll go over in the video. But these templates are pretty cool. One is a sidebar, one's a full, and one's a blank. I would say when choosing these, make sure that you stay uniform throughout your environment. Um, Other than that, though, have fun, experiment with them. They're really cool. Alternatively, you can go to site contents and creating a page, and that is done using the gear. So the gear is my starting point throughout the O365 environment. That's the way that I like to do things, but um, it's really out of habit. The new O365 environment kind of eliminates a lot of the use of the gear needing to be at starting point, but it is important to note that you can create a page and go to site contents to create a page. So if you click add a page, it will create a blank page for you. You won't get the three templates. And if you go to site contents, it'll give you multiple site page options, which we're going to go over here in a second. So if you click site contents, you scroll all the way down to site pages. Don't get overwhelmed. There's a lot of information here. Just know that site pages is usually near the bottom. So if you scroll all the way down, you should be able to see site pages, and that will give you a list of all of the site pages that you have access to within this environment. So now that we're in the site pages area, it's a little different. You still see that plus sign new with a drop down, but you no longer see lists, library, or anything else. All you see is types of site pages because the system knows that you're in the site pages area and it'll only give you options of things that you can create. So first, the wiki page is the 2010-2013 version of site pages. They're more HTML based. They're more kind of free form. They have that old experience uh, type of look to them. The web part page allows you to add web parts, which are slightly different than these new content types that the O365 environment has. And then there are site pages, which is the new O365 experience. So you create your page. It needs a name and other stuff. So you name the page. That will affect the URL that is generated, which we'll go over here in the live environment. And then you choose whatever it is that you want to add to the page. When you're done, you go ahead and click publish. You'll see a couple pop-ups if it's your first time. It'll say, are you ready to go live? Are you sure? It'll also inform you that there's not active saving on, or there is active saving. Uh, there is active saving on, one or the other. But make sure that you publish the page or save the page uh, before you leave the page. Don't just X out of the URL. And there you have it. You have a page. Now you can display information, views, lists, libraries, whatever it is. A couple important things to note. Pages can be deleted at any time, and they can also be renamed. Uh, So if you wanted to rename a page, that's fine, but you should also update the URL if you're renaming it. So if you rename it, it won't auto update the URL. And if you do change the URL, you'll have to change that through your environment if it's hard coded anywhere. Just a couple things to keep in mind. You can't change a page into another type. So if you create a wiki page and you're like, oh no, I didn't mean to do this, I want to change this and do the new experience, you'll just have to delete the page and then create another one. You can't set page permissions. So site pages all have the same set of permissions that are inherited from the parent. Permissions, we went over that in another video. So if you want to go ahead and check out permissions, you can go ahead and check out that video. But you can create audience targeting, which we haven't gone over yet, and I will in another video. Audience targeting, you can put those on the apps and the web apps that you have on the page so that certain people are only seeing what they're privy to. So I'm going to go ahead and before I get into that slide, go ahead and give you a view of everything going on here. So I actually just created this one, so I'm going to go back and start over. Um, so if I were to go here, the new, so I'm on the home page now. If I click new and I click page, here are those three options. You could choose multiple columns. They're great for reports, projects, blah, blah, blah. It gives you little details of what some of these are good for. I like to do blank, but it's really up to you guys. Single column seems pretty cool. Multiple columns is what I ultimately end up using, but I'll do a blank just for showing this. I'm going to call this testing 2. Um, and then you can go ahead and add a few things. So you can change the layout by hitting this plus sign on the side. You'll see the 2 columns, 3 columns. I like to do this one. And then you can add your content by hitting pluses in the center. So it gives you a whole bunch of options. You can go through these. Maybe I'll make a video on what all of these are. And if you don't see something that you like, you can hit this see more and it'll bring everything up. Sites are used for within hub sites, which we'll go over in a later video, but it is a really cool function. I'm going to go ahead and hit image. Uh, this is a really cool functionality. If you go to web search, I'm going to go ahead and type in Capitol Presence. You'll notice that first off, immediately, it didn't come up with our logo. It just came up with the Capitol building. That's because this Creative Commons, those are like images that you're free to use without copyright. If you go ahead and click all, now you'll see our logo. So if you ever see something, if you're looking for something specific and you don't care about it's something that you digitally you own, then if you click all, then that's where it'll be. So we'll go ahead and add that to the page, and then I'll go ahead and add, I'm going to add a hero just because I want you guys to see the heroes. So this is really cool functionality. It's similar to the tiles. And so you can change the layout, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I like the 5 look, but if we select a link, so I'll use testing 2. We'll open that. It'll auto pull any images that the pages have. So I'll go ahead and select one more just so you guys can see what they look like. Testing page 2, that's a generic one that I created. And then waiting on it here. And then I'll go ahead and publish this page so you can see what it is that the heroes look like, because they are pretty cool. I'll do one more just for fun. So if you wanted to edit these, you can. Again, I'll go into all of this at another time, but these heroes, you see that they're sliding. Um, so I'll go ahead and change the image. I'll just make it a plain color. I'll go ahead and publish this. Oh, okay. There we go. So sometimes the system's a little slow and you just got to wait for it. So here's the hero. So you see these tiles. You can make the title of them show up. I didn't in this slow, but you'll see that you have this and it has this cool like kind of tile functionality. Imagine there would be another one here, another one here, and another one here, and it gives like a really cool feel to your website. If you couldn't notice, this is all responsive. So while I made this as the sidebar, when it's on a smaller screen, um, it shows in this responsive manner. So it's built to allow you to build responsive things that'll show up on phones, which I think is really cool. So that's how you do a page. Now you can work wherever. You can store documents and access them from anywhere and anytime. Again, SharePoint is the backbone of O365. It's where a lot of your data, if not all your data, will be stored, aside from Azure. And it'll work and integrate with all your Microsoft applications like Teams and Outlook. So SharePoint's the backbone. It's the back end. Microsoft Teams, which we'll cover in another course, is the front end new experience of O365, which is really important. And it's always important when developing and architecting your SharePoint environment to keep Microsoft Teams in mind, which we will go over in another course. You can now track documents, so on and so forth, and really dive into Microsoft SharePoint. So if you guys ever have any questions, we've got answers, right? So you can email us at support@capitalpresence.com if there's a specific topic that you want us to cover. You can also follow and interact with us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're also on YouTube and on LinkedIn, all at Capital Presence. If you want to reach out to me specifically, I am Roy G. Edwards across all platforms. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of this, and keep sending me more information of what it is that you want covered, and I will keep pumping out these videos. Until next time, guys.